Hi guys, welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another video. It is Friday. It is going to be a video today, not a live stream. I did originally say that we'll do a Q&A today, or Ask Me Anything, but I'm going to move that to next Wednesday, of course, Monday being the Talking Rubbish Transfer Show. And I wanted to do a little video today addressing something that I've seen over the last couple of days and just addressing the whole situation as a whole. And that is, of course, the fact that footballers of the Premier League have come together to create a collective fund and an initiative called #PlayersTogether. And the fund is to basically help combat and battle the current epidemic and the current situations going on. And obviously it comes after footballers have come under a lot of criticism, and I want to talk about why I think we need to start giving footballers some credit now, and we need to start giving them the credit that they deserve, because they did come under a lot of criticism. And look, we all know footballers are earning, you know, ridiculous amounts of money, and there's a very, very good reason, and there's only one reason really that they come under so much criticism, and that's because it's so widely known how much money footballers earn per week, and so widely known, you know, that they only train for a few hours a day, and that obviously at this moment they're stuck at home still earning, you know, 250 grand a week in some cases. And that's the reason as to why a lot of people seem to attack footballers at this time, as if to say they should be, you know, they should be given. And you know what? They absolutely should be, because everybody should be given as much as they can, and everybody should be doing as much as they can in order to combat this virus, whether that means given to the NHS or whether it simply means just staying at home and not leaving your house. We need to do as much as we can. So footballers come under a lot of criticism, and you know what? A part of that is fair enough, and you know, footballers should probably be taken, you know, well, they definitely should be allowing some of their wages to be taken off them in order to go towards, you know, potential vaccines or testing kits, etc., and ultimately go towards the NHS to help them battle this. But I think there's a lot of other people that need to be helping out as well. There's 12 million millionaires in this country. There's numerous amounts of billionaires who are just simply sitting at home in their 400-bedroom house doing absolutely fuck all about this, not putting their hands in their pockets. In fact, some of them are even trying to take money out of the government at such time. However, it's footballers who everybody go at. So obviously in response to this, there was a statement released a couple of days ago. I actually seen it on Luca Dean's Twitter account firstly, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin put it up, Alex Iwobi, and various other players as well, not just Everton players. Troy Deeney had it up, Harry Kane had it up as well, I believe. So the statement reads, #PlayersTogether. Over the course of the last week, as a group of Premier League players, I've held numerous talks together with the vision of creating a contribution fund that can be used to distribute money to where it's needed most in this COVID-19 crisis, helping those fighting for us on the NHS frontline as well as other key areas of need. This is a critical time for our country and for our NHS, and we are determined to help in any way that we can. We can confirm after extensive conversations between a huge number of players from all Premier League clubs, we have created our own collective player initiative, #PlayersTogether, and have partnered with NHS Charities Together, NHSCT, in order to assist them in generating and distributing funds quickly and efficiently to where they are needed most. NHSCT is the national umbrella organisation for over 150 registered NHS charities, working closely with the Charity Commission, Department of Health and Social Care, and NHS England to represent, champion and support the NHS official charities. NHSCT are the official charity partner of the NHS nationally. The contributions that this initiative will generate will help the NHSCT quickly grant funds to the front line to support in a number of ways, including to help enhance the well-being of NHS staff, volunteers and patients impacted by COVID-19, as well as helping them in their work supporting many other critical areas of need, both now and in the longer term. #PlayersTogether is about we as players collaborating together to create a voluntary initiative separate to any other club and league conversations that can help get much needed funds to those that need it right now. To try and help along with so many others in this country, and to make a real difference. Our prayers and thoughts go out to everybody affected by this crisis. By sticking together, we will get through this. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives, #PlayersTogether. And like I said, I think the players, the Premier League players that obviously have come together, created this initiative, created this fund, you know, like I said before, there's a lot of Everton players involved. There's also a lot of players, you know, from other clubs as well, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, which we have to give praise to. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I honestly do, and I think it deserves so much credit, because footballers, ever since this this pandemic has sort of become as serious as it has, and ever since it's become known that, you know, the NHS is struggling in terms of funds, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them being that the government aren't supplying or haven't supplied over the years enough funds for the NHS to work correctly, and footballers have come under a lot of criticism, and like I said, it's easy to criticise footballers because they're the people we know are on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. They're the people we know are on millions a year in their lavish mansions with their swimming pools and all of that, so it's easy for us to see all of that on social media, you know, see certain players that mightn't even be first teamers for their clubs sitting in their mansions with swimming pools and go at them and saying, you should be given more, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Now obviously the Premier League did approach every Premier League club to discuss the potential of cutting players' wages, I think by 30%, in order to sort of help fund the NHS and various other organisations that need it at the moment. And obviously the players have come together and they've said, no, you know what, away from the Premier League, away from the FA, away from anything else, we're going to come together as a collective group of players, and we're going to make this contribution fund, and we're going to help towards funding, you know, the key areas that need funding at this time. And like I said, it's so nice to see, and it does deserve an awful lot of credit because the players come under a lot of scrutiny. Again, football players, and I want to stress this point, football players are not the only people in this country earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. There's businessmen, there's CEOs, there's development officers, there's people that own companies that you probably don't even know about, that haven't got a level of fame, solicitor companies or whatever all around the country that are on probably double what footballers are on a week, and they're sitting back and they're not doing anything. Footballers come under a lot of scrutiny, you know, at this time, and they've come out and they've created their own fund. They've said, no, you know what? You know, whatever the Premier League do, whatever the FA do, fantastic, but we're going to come together and we're going to create our own fund and we're going to do it ourselves. And I think it's fantastic that they've done that. And again, it shows the unity, it shows the togetherness, it shows at this time that regardless of who you play for, regardless of who you support, regardless of where you're from, you know, we need to all come together, not just in this country but around the world. Obviously this is specific to Premier League players and in this country, but around the world. And it shows that, you know, Liverpool players, Everton players, Man United players, Arsenal players, Tottenham players, they've all come together to create this fund and use their massive wage for something good. And you know, it's expected, and I'm not sitting here saying, oh my god, let's praise them, because that's a fantastic thing to do, because a lot of people will probably watch this video and go, well, it's expected, they should be doing it, getting stupid amounts of money a week, and they're sitting at home, so they should be given, and that's fine, and that's, you know, I agree with that, I do agree with that, but my point is, footballers have come out and made this initiative, they've made this collective fund, and there's still certain businessmen, there's still certain people that are sitting there, quiet as fuck, with their hands in their pockets, sitting on their hundreds of millions of pounds, if not billions of pounds. Now, I said the stats at the start of the video, I'll say it again now. There's 12 million millionaires in this country, and there's a fair few billionaires in this country as well. And I'm telling you now for fact that they aren't all footballers or people involved in football. Now, the footballers have come together and they've created a collective fund which is brilliant, and they're using their wage to you know, to help the NHS and for a good manner. But we're not really talking about the CEOs of football clubs, we're not really talking about the heads of football clubs or the chairmen, who also have got silly amounts of money. And you know, from what I know, again, I don't know whether the chairman of Arsenal or the chairman of Liverpool is given, maybe they haven't, maybe they've done, you know, the right charity work that they should be doing, but one thing's for sure is I haven't seen it, and I also haven't seen them being criticised. And there's one certain billionaire who has really gritted my teeth throughout this, and I'll call him a dickhead. There's a word I'd rather use, but I'm not going to use it for the sake of any children that might be watching the video or anybody else. But that is, of course, I'm sure you know, Richard Branson of Virgin Media. Richard Branson owns his own island, he owns his own rocket, he's a multi-billionaire, he owns a television company, media company, mobile phone network, a travel agent, or whatever you want to call it, an Atlantic travel agent. Yeah, Richard Branson, instead of offering his funds, instead of offering some of the multi-billions of pounds he's got that he doesn't need at the moment, he is trying to take more money out of the government. He has asked the government for £4 billion in order to, you know, basically to see him off because of the money that he's going to lose without air travel and various other things. He wants $4 billion, or he wants a lot of money from the government because he's not able to fly his planes, instead of actually going, you know what, there's bigger issues in this world than my pockets and my money, so I'm actually going to give some of my money away, donate some of my money, and then, you know, whatever happens. If I can't fly my planes, I can't fly my planes. And my point is, Branson's an example of a situation that's happened, and that is, you know, in the air, all over the media, all over social media, and he's being absolutely ripped to bits for it, and rightly so. But there's many other billionaires, there's many other millionaires who will be taking the same stance as Richard Branson. They won't be thinking about giving to other people. They won't be thinking about funding the NHS. They won't be thinking about offering their, you know, their billions of pounds. They'll be thinking about how can we A, make more money out of this, and B, regain the money that we've potentially lost. Whereas footballers who have come under a lot more criticism than your Richard Bransons or your CEOs of Sky or your CEOs of Just Eat or your CEOs of whoever else, again, I've named those companies because I just haven't seen any evidence of those people giving anything or doing anything to help. Obviously, Just Eat, I think they're offering a discount for NHS staff, which is fantastic, but I'm talking at the higher level, and until I see evidence of them doing it, I'll continue to have a go at them, because you know, people are very, very open to have a go at footballers, and very, very, you know, easy to say, well, you're on 150 grand a week, you should be given 30% of your wages. That's completely fair enough. And I think we all know, as a collective, as a country, as a community, as football fans around the world, whoever watches this, whether it just be Everton fans, whether it be other football fans, I think we all know that footballers shouldn't earn as much money as they do, and that NHS workers and frontline staff, those NHS workers now, those people working in the hospitals, 12-hour days, 4 or 5 days a week, constantly battling this virus in the face of it, they should be earning £500,000 a week. They should be earning £12 million a year, £24 million a year, whatever. They should be earning the wage that a central midfielder in the Premier League's earning to kick a ball around a couple of times a week. But realistically, again, there's reasons behind that, and there's deeper political issues behind that I'm not going to go into, but we know that the NHS has been massively underfunded by the government for the last however many years, and again, that's something for a different conversation. But I don't want to create divide. I don't want to create people breaking up. We need to come together, we need to be united, and we need to come together to fight this, because there's only one way we're going to beat this, and that's by fighting it. And I wanted to highlight in today's video, it's just a short video, about 15 minutes long. I just wanted to highlight how fantastic I think it is of the footballers to come together and to create this fund, and you know, when they've been criticised and when they've had a lot of media attention, because the media love this, because you'll read in all of the newspapers about how footballers should be given money, and how footballers and how certain footballers are sitting in the lavish mansions while telling people to stay home, and that's fair enough. But you don't realise is that the media companies and that the newspapers printing those articles, the people at the head of those papers are also on stupid amounts of money, and they ain't doing fuck all to help. So I think it's about time we start going at the other billionaires and millionaires around this country who aren't doing anything. And now footballers have come out and said, look, you know, we were advised, we were told about the potential cuts in wages, but we've gone, you know what, we're going to create our own fund, and you know, however many players are in that, imagine how much money that's raising for the NHS. Imagine how much money that's raising, that's so needed at this time in this country, that all of those Premier League footballers, all on a lot of money a week, are coming together and giving, you know, something, you know, some of their wage or a donation in order to go towards, you know, the NHS and the frontline staff. And the end of that statement's absolutely spot on. Stay safe and protect the NHS, and that's exactly what we need to do. And again, the last sentence speaks volumes of footballers as a whole in the Premier League, and that they are human beings. Yes, they get paid an awful lot of money. Yes, they're held on this pedestal. Yes, they've got celebrity status, but they are human beings, and it shows by the last sentence. Our prayers and thoughts go out to everybody affected by this crisis. By sticking together, we'll get through this. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives. And again, I dare say that was written by a PR man or somebody, you know, surrounding somebody that, I don't know, a union member that represents all of the footballers. But again, it shows that they've come together and they've gone, well, we've had a lot of criticism and we probably should be doing more, so we're going to do more. And my point is, fantastic, let's give them credit for that, get off their backs now, because they're not the only people earning silly amounts of money a week, and let's start looking at the other billionaires and millionaires around this country who aren't doing anything to help and need to be doing more. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Just a little bit of a short video as to why I think, you know, a lot of the time footballers do get a lot of stick, especially when it comes to the wage, especially when it comes to how much money they get paid. You never really hear anything positive when it comes to talking about footballers' wages, and you know, that's understandable. Of course, we all know that instead of paying Umani has 65 grand a week, why aren't we paying one of the frontline doctors or nurses 65 grand a week? And we know that, but the reality is, like I said, the NHS and the staff have been massively underfunded by the government, and footballers are paid by private companies, and that's always as it's going to be. But again, like I said, I wanted to highlight it because I think it's about time we start giving footballers the credit that they deserve now, especially after this, and especially on the base, you know, when you think about the fact that there's other people earning similar and, you know, more amounts of money than they are that aren't doing anything. So yeah, just a short video. Let me know your thoughts on it. Obviously, continue to follow the government guidelines, continue to stay at home unless absolutely 100% necessary. Unless you have to leave for necessary reasons, stay at home. It's hard, it's tough, it's boring, it's horrible. I've done it for the last however many weeks. I've only gone out when I've absolutely needed to, but I've stayed at home the majority of the time. And you know, it's not ideal, it's not great, especially when the weather's like 22 degrees and you're sitting there and you're sweating and you just want to get out and play footy, or you just want to get out and go to the pub, but it's for the greater good. And if we all just went, nah, you know what, fuck it, let's go out and let's, you know, enjoy the weather, forget about this virus, then the pubs won't be opening and there won't be no nice weather because we won't be here, because it'll wipe out. So we need to follow the government advice, we need to follow the guidelines, we need to listen to those NHS workers that are seeing this every single day in their face. Stay at home, stay safe, protect yourself, protect other people, and protect the NHS as well. Big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like I said, we'll be back on Monday, 5:15 for the Talking Rubbish transfer show. I've got a load of transfers to talk about, loads of attacking midfielders as well. We spoke last week about the fact that we need an attacking midfielder and we need to bring one in, and now all we've had in the last week are links to various different attacking midfielders, and some quite Hollywood names as well. So we're going to talk about them 5:15 PM live on Monday night. That will be a live stream, so don't forget to join for that one. Anyway, in the meantime, big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.